What happens when you stop making excuses? At first, nothing dramatic. The sun still rises. People still doubt you. Your problems don't magically disappear. But something shifts. Something small. Something quiet. Excuses are comfortable. They protect your ego. They explain your delays. They soften your failures. They give you a story that makes you feel less responsible. I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. I'm not ready. It's not the right moment. I didn't grow up with advantages. I'll start tomorrow. Excuses sound reasonable. That's why they're dangerous. Because the moment you believe them, you hand over control of your life. But when you stop making excuses, you take that control back. And it starts with one uncomfortable truth. Maybe the problem isn't your circumstances. Maybe the problem is your decision. When you stop making excuses, you stop blaming. You stop blaming your past. You stop blaming your parents. You stop blaming the economy. You stop blaming your boss. You stop blaming your lack of motivation. You look in the mirror and say, "It's on me." That sentence is heavy, but it's powerful. Because if it's on you, then it's also up to you. When you stop making excuses, your standards rise. You don't say, "I didn't have time." You say, "I didn't make time." You don't say, "I'm bad at this." You say, "I haven't practiced enough." You don't say, "I can't." You ask, "How can I?" That shift changes everything. Excuses keep you comfortable. Responsibility makes you grow. And growth is uncomfortable. It means waking up earlier. It means doing the work when you don't feel like it. It means admitting you were wrong. It means trying again after failing publicly. It means starting before you feel ready. When you stop making excuses, you begin to see your patterns. You notice how often you delay difficult tasks. You notice how often you avoid discomfort. You notice how often you choose entertainment over effort. You notice how often you talk about goals more than you work on them. And that awareness can hurt. But awareness is power. Because once you see the pattern, you can break it. When you stop making excuses, your results start to reflect your effort. Not immediately. There's no overnight transformation. There's no dramatic movie moment. There's no sudden applause. There's just consistency. One day of discipline. Then another. Then another. You go to the gym even when you're tired. You study even when your friends are relaxing. You build your business even when nobody is buying. You practice even when you feel average. And slowly, something changes. Your confidence. Not fake confidence. Not loud confidence. Not social media confidence. Real confidence. The kind that comes from knowing you did the work. When you stop making excuses, you respect yourself more. Because deep down, you always know when you're lying to yourself. You know when you could have tried harder. You know when you quit too early. You know when you blame something outside of you to protect your pride. And that quiet self-betrayal chips away at your self-worth. But when you show up anyway, when you finish what you started, when you push through resistance, you build self-trust. And self-trust is everything. Because once you trust yourself, you stop needing constant validation from others. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You believe in you. When you stop making excuses, you also become more disciplined with your words. You stop saying things you don't mean. You stop promising things you won't do. You stop overcommitting and underdelivering. You become someone who follows through. And that changes how people see you. More importantly, it changes how you see yourself. Here's something most people don't realize. Excuses don't just delay success. They shape identity. If you constantly say, "I'm not disciplined," you become undisciplined. If you constantly say, "I'm bad with money," you stay bad with money. If you constantly say, "I'm just not confident," you stay small. Your excuses become your identity. But when you remove them, you create space for a new identity. I am learning. I am improving. I am responsible. I am capable. And identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as responsible, you act responsibly. When you see yourself as disciplined, you act with discipline. When you see yourself as capable, you take bigger risks. That's the real transformation. Not external. Internal. When you stop making excuses, you stop waiting. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop waiting for approval. You stop waiting for clarity. You move. Even when it's messy. Even when it's uncertain. Even when you're scared. And here's the truth. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action without excuses. There will still be hard days. You will still feel tired. You will still doubt yourself. You will still fail. But instead of saying, "This is why I can't," you say, "This is part of the process." That mindset makes you unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you don't stay down. When you stop making excuses, time feels different. You realize how much of your life was spent explaining instead of executing. You realize how many years you delayed starting. You realize how many opportunities you missed because you weren't ready. And instead of feeling regret, you feel urgency. You understand that no one is coming to save you. No perfect moment is arriving. No magical confidence boost is on the way. It's you. It has always been you. And that realization is both terrifying and freeing. Because if it's all on you, then your future is also in your hands. Imagine where you would be a year from now if you stopped making excuses today. If every time you caught yourself saying, "I can't," you replaced it with action. If every time you wanted to quit, you stayed 5 more minutes. If every time you blamed something external, you asked what you could control. Small changes. Daily. That's how lives transform. Not through hype. Not through shortcuts. Not through wishing. Through responsibility. So what happens when you stop making excuses? You grow. You mature. You take ownership. You build discipline. You gain confidence. You earn respect. You change your identity. You change your results. You change your life. And it doesn't start with a huge decision. It starts with one moment. The next time you catch yourself making an excuse, pause. Ask yourself, is this true? Or is this comfortable? And then choose growth over comfort. Because the day you stop making excuses is the day you start becoming the person you always said you wanted to be.